This is a mind-blowing combination. The Advanced Custom Forms plugin with the Divi Theme Builder. It allows you to create these custom forms on certain post types or even just single pages, so that when you create a Divi layout, you can easily customize by entering in information into particular areas. The way it works is when you're logged into your website, head down to Plugins, Add New, search for ACF, which is Advanced Custom Fields, click Install, and then Activate. And now what I can do is actually start to build a form. We're going to work on a bit of a basic event type thing, but mainly with the idea of showing you what you can do, and it's pretty much up to your imagination. So I'm going to click on ACF, and you can see here I've got post types, and I can actually add in a post type if I want to, like an event or something like that. So I can call it like, movies, give it a label, and I can actually add in a post type in here pretty easily. I'm not going to get into that today because it is reasonably straightforward, but you do have some advanced settings if you want to go in there and allow or disallow certain things. If you want to see that in another video, let me know and I'll make one. But otherwise, we're going to go into field groups. We're going to add in a field group. I'm going to give this field group a name. So since we're doing like an event site, I'm just going to call it event. And you can see if I collapse this, we can start to add fields and labels down this page. So I'm going to just start with this one that's here. It's just a simple text field. I can change it to something else like a text area, which is more like a paragraph size sort of thing, or a number. We've got a few different options. I'm just going to call this one event name. We'll auto name it, and I can give it a default value if I want to. For now, I'm just going to collapse. Although there are some other things here like validation. I can give it a character limit, so maybe I don't want it to be any more than 255 characters required. I'm just going to leave that for now. Presentation, you can give it instructions, placeholder text, and that kind of thing to show up. So let's just say, give your event a name. Event name goes here. And it appears before the input. We're going to leave that. It appears after the, so you can actually add things in before and after, but we don't really want to worry about that. And we don't really want to worry about this stuff down here because it's all pretty straightforward. We can add conditional logic if we want to, only to show this field if certain things are there. Just keep it basic for now. So I'm going to turn that back off and collapse that. So we have our event name. So now we can add in more fields. So once again, we get this. Maybe I want to add in something else. Maybe it's a number. I can call it star rating or something like that. Star rating, default value is 5. And then that's where I can come down to validation. Required minimum value of 1, maximum value of 5. So they can't give a 5-star, add a 6-star rating to a 5-star range. And I'm going to leave these blank and we'll just keep going from there. So now we have our star rating. We also want to add a few other things. So add a field. And once again, we've got more options here. An event image is going to be important. I'll call it event poster. I just want to make this an image URL because I want Divi to just simply receive the image URL when it goes to actually use it on a page. And we can limit the choice. I'm just going to say all because we don't really want any limitations on that. Add another field. This time we'll probably need an event date. So you can see you've got so many different options. So you can add in links, post objects. I'm not going to go through all of it today. Have a bit of a play with it. But we have a date picker or a date time picker. We want the date and the time. So we'll put that there. And maybe we can say this date format works for us, the date and then the time. However, don't forget to set the return format, which actually is the format Divi will display it in. So set that while you're at it. And we can call this event date. Once again, automatically populates. And I'm not going to add much more, but I will talk about a few things here. Now, we can add in, once again, a range so people can choose a range. We can add in a URL that can be used as a link. So I'm going to add that in a minute because we're going to have where you can buy tickets from. And I'm going to show you how you can turn that on or off based on if there's a URL present. The same works for if you have a file. You can add a full what you see, what you get editor. So a basic editor where you can add in information and text like the post, kind of like the classic editor in WordPress. And of course, things like people can select from certain boxes or check boxes. So you can check certain fields and certain things to really make it multiple choice. But it's pretty straightforward. We may actually add in a select box as well. We're going to leave the rest of this in here for now. But to give you an idea of what you can do, basically, I'm going to go URL. I'm going to call this buy tickets. Default value, we're going to leave blank. And the only other thing I'm going to add now is add another field. And we're going to add in that select. We'll say location, choices. Maybe we'll just go, let's just choose some countries for the sake of it. So Australia. Default value, we can choose, I'm going to say Australia because I live in Australia. So select multiple values, we can choose that, but I'm going to leave that off for now. And I'm going to save changes. So if I scroll back up, you can see it's been saved. We have our event name, star rating, a poster, an event date, where we can buy tickets, and the location. So the country, of course, you can go in there and populate a full address, things like that, but we're not too worried about that right now because once you sort of see how this works, you'll be able to then tailor this to the way that you want to do it. Now, there are rules to getting this to show up. So I can go by post type. So if I have a post type here, I can choose to make it equal to a project. So if we're using Divi, we can do it for projects. The other thing too is I've done this on home pages, so you can even just go a page and choose a particular page. So maybe I can make it the home page or the checkout page, something like that. I've got a bunch of pages on here. So the contact us page. So where this form shows up is controlled here, and that shows up in the editor of that page. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add this to a project. So I'm going to say post type is equal to project. And then I click Save Changes. Now that I've done that, I'm going to add a new project to show you how this appears. I use my default editor, not the Divi editor. Now, the other thing you can do, one thing to keep in mind is when you do this, so we have all our fields down here, we can always move those around a little bit. So I can actually take this all-in-one SEO field, move it down underneath. We have our event. You don't necessarily have to add in the event title if you just want to use the project title. So I'm just going to say here, event project title, so you can see what I mean. And then under event, I can give it a name. I'm going to say big event. The star rating, I'm going to say 4 stars. An event poster, I'll add an image from the library. So you can also upload a file as per normal. I'll run with this image here. So I've got big event, 4-star rating, event poster, event date. I can choose, at the moment it's June 2023. So maybe it's in 2024. And maybe it's in April on the 2nd. And let's just say 6 p.m. or maybe it's 6:24 p.m. for whatever reason, and 2 seconds if you want to get specific. We'll leave it at normal. So you can see here's April 2, 2024, 6:24 p.m. Where can we buy tickets? Let's just say I haven't got a website, so we're just going to put here fake website / ticket. Locations in Australia, we're going to go USA. So we have all our fields filled out. But I can also add in some information. So I might quickly just paste some lorem ipsum in there. So this will be kind of like the main bit of our event information in here. So we got our project title, a whole bunch of information. And once again, I can call this, I've got here event, big event. And I'm going to show you the difference in a minute. So event dash big event. I'll say here in brackets title, so you know that's the top of the page. The event name is big event here. And we've got the star rating, the image, and a bunch of information there. I'm going to publish this, and I'm going to view this project. So you can see here that there's absolutely none of this information, and that's for good reason. We haven't actually designed the layout in Divi to pull that information and make it available. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to head back into the dashboard and scroll down to Divi and open the Divi theme builder, which has a bunch of layouts in there already. I scroll down and you can see I've got a few layouts in here. Nothing for projects yet. I'm going to add a new template, build new template. And because I chose projects as the type, as the post type, I choose all projects, and I can choose some projects if I don't, and actually categorize them if I want to go that far. But I'm going to hit create template. Now it says here it's assigned to another template, but we're going to override that. So create template, all projects, and build a custom body. Build custom body. So I'm going to try and do this as quick as I can without being sort of too confusing or overlooking things. But essentially what I'm going to do is I've got a few options here. I can add in some columns, And maybe I want to add the title in here. So I come down, I can choose the post title, which would show the actual title of the project, and I have a few options there. So I'm going to leave that there just for now so I can show you what I mean. And then over here, I'm going to add in just a text field. And I'm going to remove this content. And this little icon here, I'm going to click that, and I can choose a custom field name. So manual custom field name, or there's a bunch of other custom fields here. There's an ACF event section. I can choose the event name. Okay, and okay. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now, one thing I'm also going to do is in the background of this section here, I'm going to get a background, bitmap, and again, I go up to this dynamic content marker, scroll down to the bottom, event poster. And I can actually customize the look of this page, or I can even add the poster again. So what I might even do, just to show you how this works, I'm going to make the background of this area black, or actually I'll make it white. And underneath here, I'm going to add in an image. And again, I'm going to choose, again, I'm going to delete this blank image, choose my dynamic content, scroll down, event poster. So this is where it gets interesting. I can now design a complete page with different information. So now when I add in another section, I'm going to call it a regular section. I'm going to give it 3 columns. The first one is going to be straight text. I'm going to choose a dynamic field. I say star rating. And before I can have here a bit of HTML that says strong. Star rating / strong. After, I can have space, stars. And I want to have a space, I'm going to have a colon and a space there, enable raw HTML, and tick. So I have my star rating there as text. And I'm also going to take, zoom out again, I'm going to take this background here, give it a color, so I'll give it that crazy green color. So I've got my star rating here. I can now add another area here, so I'm going to call this text again, dynamic content. And I've got to fill these out. So I've got the star rating, I've got the event name. I don't have the event date yet, so I'm going to go event date. This time I can actually say heading 2. So H2, date of event / H2. Now I can even then give it like a paragraph tag. So if you know HTML, that's good. Otherwise, if not, you can just put plain text in here, but you will lose some of the ability to format it like I have here with these H2 tags. Enable raw HTML. Okay. I can also then go into my heading text and style my heading too by bringing the size up, clicking OK. Now the last one here, I'm going to choose a call to action. I can say here, buy tickets. Click here, buy your tickets. And then I can actually go in to the link, dynamic content, choose to buy tickets. So this will be the URL. But there is an issue. I go to the background and make the background black. What if we don't have that event URL? One thing I can do is I can go into the actual call to action itself, go to advanced conditions, and I can turn that off if there's no URL. But if I just remove that module, I'll still have these 2 columns and then an empty column. So I'm actually going to not do that. I'm going to click into my row here with the columns in it, click on that last column, go to advanced. Where it says conditions here, I'm now going to add a condition. I'm going to say custom field, and I can choose custom field name. So it's actually a little bit difficult to type that in, so I need to reference what that custom field name is. So I want to tab back to my fields for a minute. I have my tickets here, open that up, and this is the field name, buy_tickets. I'm going to copy that. I'm back here. I put the custom field name in here, buy tickets. I'm going to say display only if buy tickets has any value, and I enable this condition. Click OK. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this, exit, save changes. So now I've come back to the project with the fields I filled out, and this is what we had before. I'm going to refresh the page. Now it's a bit of a mess, but you can see here how I have the event, big event title, which is the project page title. I have the actual event name. I have the event image here. Date of the event, which was a H2, and it has the date there. I have the star rating and where to buy your tickets. Click here. So this is where it gets interesting. We've added a condition to this box. I'm going to click Edit Project, scroll down, and I'm going to remove the URL, hit Update. Now when I view that post, scroll down, that column is gone. So it's a bit weird. It actually has kept the 2 columns there, but you get the idea. If you have this stacked underneath something, it will remove it. But it's pretty handy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add that back in very quickly. Save it. And then I'm going to head back to my theme builder, just do a couple more things, and then I'm going to style it up. I'm going to sort of touch on a few things very quickly, and we're going to move on from there. I'm back in my theme builder. I scroll down, all projects, edit. I'm going to get rid of this altogether because I just want to demonstrate how that works. I'm going to turn off the background, and I'm just going to give it a color, gray color. Remove this background. I'm going to move the event name across, and I want to style that quickly as well. So again, I'm going to click on the gray box. I've got event name here. I'm going to give it a H1 tag. Enable raw HTML. Tick. I'm going to go to design, heading text, H1. I'm going to make it white. I'm going to make the text a bit bigger. I'm going to move, this image is on the right over here. I've got the event name. I'm going to take the star rating, move that up to here as well. I'm going to move the event date across. I'm going to move these tickets across as well. And I'm just going to style this page quickly to try and get something that looks sort of pretty nice. I'm going to stop here for a sec because what I'm going to do is add in a post content section to reference the actual post we wrote with the lorem ipsum. Okay, so it's not perfect and it's kind of hard to see what we're actually working with here sometimes, but I've got the event name here. It's a heading 1 tag, so it will be quite large. The star rating, I do need to make the text light for that. And again, with the event name as well. So we have our event name here, which will be a heading 1, our star rating. We have an event image. I can even actually move the tickets over here if I want to. And we have the event date over here. So not the best design, but it's laid out nicely. I'm going to save it. Tab over. I'm going to refresh. Have big event. Star rating is 4 stars. We could buy tickets here, and if I click on that, it'll actually take me to that website. And if you can see down the bottom left here, it's actually hovered over that address. There's no website there. Our event posters on the right. We've got the date of the event and, of course, the post text. Now, this doesn't look very good, but if you're able to design using the Divi theme, you can see how easily you can actually create very detailed pages with a lot more fields. I've done this on a couple of websites for clients where they've had big events with they've had PDFs for people to download, where we've been able to turn off the button when they don't have the PDF uploaded, and a bunch of extra fields that go into more detail. Also looking at doing this for someone for a real estate website. It's actually very powerful because you can customize these pages quite easily. And at any time you edit the project, you've got your normal information here, and you've got the fields you can fill out down the bottom here, which is pretty cool. And on top of that, you can also use your featured image and categories as well, but this is just a basic run through of what you can do with ACF and Divi. Now, one thing I also recommend, if we head back out to the dashboard, is to go into your plugins, add new. I'm going to type in ACF again. You see here ACF Better Search. This plugin adds a default WordPress search engine the ability to search content from selected fields of the Advanced Custom Fields plugin. If someone wants to search your website, they can't search custom fields. So I recommend actually installing that and setting it up. So once it's installed, I've got my settings here, and any text or URLs, files, I can turn these on or off to add them to the YouTube search. Keeping in mind also that it's under settings here, the ACF Better Search. You've also got the ACF settings bar down here with field groups, post types, tools. This is just a basic rundown of what you can do with ACF. It's free, it's very powerful and very easy to use, and you can create some pretty outstanding stuff. Another thing that's really cool, I will mention also, if I go into field groups, event, there are some other settings here. You can actually, so obviously it has to be active, but you can change the style of the way it's presented. So you can have it under the title of the page. Sometimes you actually do need to have the classic editor for some of these to actually work, but you can turn off the content editor. I believe that works mainly with the classic editor, not so much block editor, although I could be wrong. But you can turn off certain areas if you want to, and you can change the way it actually presents in the editor. So if I actually turn off the content editor and go save changes, I pop over to our projects, open up big event, it actually still shows in the block editor. So you would need to go and make sure and add in a plugin to turn on the classic editor. I'll pop a video on the screen that shows you how to do that. Otherwise, that's the video for today. I hope it has given you some ideas what you can do with the Divi theme using ACF. Very powerful combination. Any questions or anything you want me to follow up with, I have some knowledge in some areas, not others. I'm not an expert, but I have used it a few times. So just ask and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching the video. I hope to see you again soon.